What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix and welcome to my Group Bandos Bossing guide. This is a guide to defeating General Grador, and I'll hopefully take you through all of the basics of what equipment you need, what inventory you need, and the differences between tanking and attacking. The basic bare-bone requirements of going to Bandos is you need to have started the Troll Stronghold quest to enable you to walk through to the Ice God Wars area. You need level 70 strength to enter the Bandos dungeon, and that can't be boosted, so you can't bring a super strength or something like that. You also need a hammer to get into Bandos's area, and you also will need a rope if it's your first time going to God Wars. It's also very recommended to complete the Edgar's Ruse quest for the Trollheim teleport spell. When you're getting Bandos kill count, you should kill goblins, and goblins are really easy to get kill count on because there's about 5 of them that spawn in one area, and they have under 20 health each. These are the basic team roles that exist when you go to Bandos. The first and most important one is a tank, and you only need one tank in the room. In order to be effective at tanking the hits at Bandos, you need to have at least level 90 defense and over 80 magic. You need 90 defense to take less damage from his ranged attacks, and the magic level really reduces the damage you're going to take from the magic minion. As well as those stats, I'd recommend having at least 80 in one of the combat stats in order to damage Bandos. Melee is the most common style against Bandos, however occasionally you'll see someone tanking in range, but they'll usually have a really high defense level. The rest of the players in the room are attackers, and they can use melee, ranged, or magic. Even for the attackers, it's highly recommended to have at least 70 defense and 70 magic in particular. You will still be taking damage, and quite a lot of it, so ensure you meet these defense requirements or your trips are gonna last nothing. I'm going to show you guys the meleeing tank setup and all of the best gear that you should be taking. So there's a table on the screen right now. Of course, the ones all the way to the left are really hard to get your hands on and quite expensive, but work your way down the list and there will be a cheaper option in there for you to use. The Justiciar armor set works very well at Bandos, and mixed with the Elysian, you get on average a 20% damage reduction. As an attacker, you have 3 options, and on the screen right now I've put the different recommended setups for each of the attack styles, and you can pick one that suits your account and suits the amount of money that you have. Feel free to pause now and pick one if you're about to go to Bandos, but otherwise come back here later and you can pick your gear whenever you'd like. The main thing you need to keep in mind when you're an attacker is that you need to have a decent magic defense and a decent melee defense, since you'll be protecting from ranged. So this is the recommended inventory setup that I have for you guys. The first thing you need is a hammer. Secondly, 3 to 4 super combat potions, 14 Saradomin brews, 7 super restores, and your special attack weapon, which the best one that you can bring with you is probably a crystal halberd or dragon claws. The Saradomin god sword is really good as well for healing you, especially if you're the tank, and the Bandos god sword or the dragon warhammer is also pretty good for the special attack. You'll also need a one-click teleport or some way to get out of there in case you're about to die. So let's get into the strategy, starting off with tanking. When you decide to be a tank for a team, you need to make sure you go into the room first, and before each kill, you need to attract General Grador's attention so that he can't attack anyone else in the room first. If he attacks someone else first, that other person is gonna have to become a tank and will probably lose the majority of their food. Tanks use protect from melee, and sometimes you will take a lot of damage from Grador's range attack. That's why tanks are called tanks. You should always walk underneath Grador so that he won't deal any damage while you're eating. This can stall Grador's attacks, and sometimes he just won't attack for a bit. Tanks can also take good advantage of the Bones to Peaches spell, because after each kill, all 4 monsters in the boss room all drop bones, so that's very recommended for the tank. There's also a lot of food drops that come from Bandos, so whenever anyone else in the team gets one of these drops, they should go ahead and give it to the tank. Now, as an attacker, you need to attack General Grador after the tank attacks him. There can be any amount of attackers, and in any range of combat style. But for those people that are using ranged or magic, you need to be really careful, because your attacks are long ranged. You can attack Grador first before the tank attacks it a lot easier. So always make sure the tank attacks Grador before you attack it. Throughout the fight, you pray range against Grador because his melee attacks will only be focused on the tank. Once you kill Bandos, you have to kill the minions, and Sergeant Steelwill, the mage minion, is the most important to go after first. The other two minions can be killed at the same time. The only reason why the magic minion is prioritized so much because he'll usually deal the most damage to the tank. Now I'd like to go over some general stuff that everyone in the team should be aware of. Someone bringing high level alchemy can get quite a bit more money out of God Wars trips, because Grador actually drops a lot of rune items and high level alchables. After the fight is complete, it's a good idea to exchange supplies to make sure that everyone in the team has enough food for another kill or enough prayer potions. Anyone that requires food after a kill should say something out loud and people will give them food at the end of the kill, but be quick because Bandos will spawn pretty fast. Now Guthans can also be used by anyone in the team if they want to heal on the minions. You should heal on the ranged and the melee minion, and it's also worth noting that Guthans has a really good defense bonus, and I had it in the equipment table before for the tank, and you can actually wear Guthans and just bring the spear as a switch to save a lot of inventory slots and extend your trips a lot. Quickly wanted to talk about the drops before I ended this video. General Grador himself has a 1 in 384 chance of dropping a Bandos item, with the exception of the Bandos hilt having a 1 in 508 chance. He also drops the pet at a rate of 1 in 5,000 and an elite clue in every 250. As you may or may not know, the minions also have a chance at dropping Bandos items, except they don't have a chance of dropping the hilt. They have a 1 in 16,200 chance at giving the Bandos chestplate, tassets, or boots, and a 1 in 5,024 chance at giving one of the Godsword shards. All in all, Bandos can make you a lot of money once you have the requirements and a good team together, but his power should never be underestimated. He is a very powerful boss, so always make sure you have at least a good magic level, defense level, and gear to make sure you take the least amount of damage and don't die and have to run and get your stuff back. I hope you guys learned something about Bandos today. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.